Have you ever felt like you're building the exact same kind of broken relationship over and over again? Well, what if I told you that you are the architect of your own love life? That you actually hold the blueprints to build something truly magnificent. So come on, let's grab our hard hats, unroll those old plans, and figure out how we can start a complete redesign.
Right, let's just get straight to it. It's the question so many of us have asked ourselves, probably late at night. Why? Why, when I know I want a loving, committed relationship, do I keep finding myself drawn to people who just can't give me that? It's an incredibly frustrating pattern for sure, but the reason behind it is actually fascinating, and it's all buried in our psychological blueprints. So, let's start by unpacking that blueprint. Let's figure out why we make these choices in the first place. Because here's the thing, it turns out we're not really choosing what we want. We're choosing what we recognize. Our past has already drafted a plan for us, and our first job is to understand it before we can even think about changing it.
There's this concept in neurolinguistic programming called a love map, and you can think of it like your internal GPS for relationships. It was programmed way back in your childhood, through your early experiences, and it's what dictates what feels familiar, what feels like home, even if that home was, a little bit chaotic.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this is how our nervous system gets wired. If your personal love map equates love with things like unpredictability or maybe having to constantly earn affection, well then a secure, stable, consistently available partner just isn't going to feel right. Your system literally flags safety as boring or even weird, all because it doesn't match the map.
So this creates what you could call a software bug in our system. Let's call it the uncertainty loop. It starts with a learned insecurity, that little voice that says, you're not quite good enough. So what do? You chase an unavailable person, because you think, if I can just win them over, that would finally be the validation I need. But of course, because they're unavailable, you almost never get it, which just reinforces that original feeling of insecurity. And around the loop we go.
Okay, so our love map is a huge piece of the puzzle. But it's not the only thing going on here. We also see the world through this unique, personal filter that can create these invisible barriers that can stop us from seeing the very connection we say we want. Let's take a look at how this filter can build a completely distorted reality right in front of our eyes.
The writer M.L. Kersey has a great name for this filter, the interface. It sits right between you and the outside world. And what this means is you never actually see a potential partner for who they truly are. Nope. Instead, what you see is a projection, a reflection of your own programming, your own unmet needs, all your old wounds.
Let me put it this way. If your internal operating system is set to a scarcity or shortage mode, the belief that good things are rare or that you don't really deserve them, it will literally filter out any evidence to the contrary. A genuinely loving, abundant person just won't compute. To your system, they might as well be invisible.
All of this leads to this state of, internal dissonance, a kind of energetic incoherence. So your head is saying one thing loud and clear, I want a stable, loving relationship. But your heart, which has been programmed by past hurts, is running a completely different program. It's whispering, I'm terrified of getting hurt again. This massive conflict sends out these totally mixed signals, and guess what you attract? Partners who perfectly mirror that same internal chaos.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis. We've looked at the faulty foundation. Now, for the exciting part, the renovation. We're going to walk through a 3-step master plan to completely rebuild your love life from the ground up.
And the plan is actually pretty simple. We're going to borrow some cool terms that fit our architectural theme. First up is sloop, which is Dutch for deconstruction. This is where we tear down all the old faulty structures. Second is ontwerp, or design. This is where we create the brand new blueprint. And third, the update, we install this new program into your personal interface.
All right, so step 1 is all about demolition. This means we have to get really, really honest about the limiting beliefs we hold about love. I'm talking about the cracked cornerstones of that old foundation. You have to see them clearly before you can even think about replacing them. For a lot of people, a core faulty belief sounds something like this. Love is a struggle. Or maybe you have to fight for love, or I have to earn it. If you believe this, it pretty much guarantees you'll be drawn to relationships that require constant effort and, you guessed it, struggle. But now, we reframe it. We demolish that old belief and we consciously lay a new, solid foundation. Something like this. Love is a safe haven where I can be my full self. Just by doing this, you are choosing the new foundation you're going to build upon from this moment forward. Okay, with that new foundation laid, now it's time to design the super version of yourself, the you who's going to live in this new reality. And we do this by engaging all of our senses. Visually, what does it look like to be thriving in that healthy relationship? Auditory, what are the kind, positive things you'll be saying to yourself? And this one is so important. Kinesthetic, what does that safety and calm actually feel like in your body, in your nervous system?
And finally, we update your interface. This is the crucial step where you consciously change your filter. From now on, signs of emotional unavailability, they're no longer an exciting challenge to be conquered. Instead, you start to see them for exactly what they are: defective building materials that you, as a master architect, simply refuse to work with. Period.
You see, this is the whole point of becoming your own architect. It's about making that shift from being a victim of your old programming to being the one who actually writes the code. But there's one last, really crucial piece to understand about why we build these walls in the first place.
And this brings us to what might be the deepest, most counterintuitive reason for this entire pattern. The reason we chase unavailable partners is because, for us, unavailability is actually a hidden form of control.
I know it sounds like some strange logic, but it works like this. If they never get too close, then you never have to be truly vulnerable. You never have to risk showing your deepest self and having that self be rejected. Chasing unavailability is, at its very core, a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect yourself from what feels like the biggest risk of all: true intimacy.
So the power is completely in your hands. You have the analysis, you have the master plan. The only question left is the one right here on the screen. What first brick will you lay to build the love life you truly, truly deserve?